Welcome to the 2023 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this June 28, 2023 edition. We're going to just briefly talk about the fraud and waste that's going on in the American economy that's continuing to accelerate this recession that we're all going to be inevitably thrown into coming in the fall. And also we're going to be talking about the monopoly companies, the big five companies that have established not just a monopoly, but a worldwide dominance of commerce and services and employment, and how that's going to affect the labor market, as well as the some good news, generosity of some private sector companies in trying to help its workers meet ends meet and also keep their sanity at the same time while dealing with the situation. Thank you for joining me on Preach to Me. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest interpretation of financial news as it becomes available. We're not financial advisors or planners, but we do interpret financial news as it becomes seen. Thank you for your support all over the country. And now we're going to get into it. So today we have the CNBC report that states that the Justice Department will charge 78 people with $2.5 billion in healthcare fraud. We knew there was a lot of fraud and waste in terms of some of our military defense expenditures, but now we have the healthcare fraud that's now just becoming exposed after many years of people have been charging Medicare telemedicine claims falsely, ranking up bills in excess, along with fraudulent prescription drug claims, and now it's finally coming out in the sauce here. The DOJ, that's Department of Justice, said the defendants allegedly defrauded programs used to take care of the elderly and disabled people. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, the elderly population in this country is growing at a significant amount, not just because the baby boomers are retiring through the year 2025 and are aging as well, but also our World War I vets are also for those who are still alive, are also aging and need care. And they've been trying to get scams on the phone and different things. If you've seen on your local news reports in many states that these people have been scamming them and phishing and scams and all kind of stuff going on to send money. But in any event, these cases use the ill-gotten money to buy exotic cars, jewelries, and yachts, okay? Among those charged are 11 defendants accused of submitting $2 billion in fraudulent claims through telemedicine. It was popular during the pandemic, and now after the pandemic, telemedicine is still popular, as well as 10 defendants charged in connection with fraudulent prescription drug claims. So here we go. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland was speaking in D.C. Last week about that, how they caught up with these 78 people that are the charges. Now, whether or not the charges stick, it's all up to the Attorney General, and I believe they will stick, obviously, because this is very serious charges against elderly, and the elderly and most senior are vulnerable in our economy, in this automation economy that we're going towards and everything. And so it's very interesting. Prosecutors filed charges against 16 people in cases that were lodged or unsealed in the past 2 weeks as part of the coordinated quote-unquote crackdown. Now, this is interesting. The defendants include, this is physicians, these are professionals, doctors, and other licensed medical professionals who lined their pockets. So it wasn't just the doctors. It says other, quote, licensed medical professionals. That could be social workers, that could be physical therapists, nurses, the list runs the gamut. But anyway, including doctors who allegedly put their patients at risk by illegally providing them with opioids they did not need. That's what Attorney General Merrick Garland was saying, that, quote, these enforcement actions, including one of the largest healthcare fraud schemes ever prosecuted by the Justice Department. So this is one of the reasons they're cracking down over 2 billion claims. And we're going to see more of this, okay? We're going to see more of these schemes and things in different areas of the economy, whether it's healthcare, hospitality, transportation, government, utilities, you name it. There's going to be more insurance. Insurance fraud was another big one that we've seen in the last 15 years. We're going to continue to see more of that as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. As you can see here, Apple's march toward a $3 trillion valuation shown in one chart. Apple's now valued at, quote, $3 trillion, but the company is yet to finish. They're moving toward $3 trillion, not yet, but the company is getting closer once again. You see Tim Cook's Apple here. Now, it used to be during the Great Depression, we had the same thing. We had monopolies. One company dominating, the Apples, the Amazons. Back in the 1929 Depression, we had the train, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the people owning the railroads, the commerce, Buffett's and all that kind of stuff. Today we're following the same pattern with the Apples, the Walmarts, all of the Googles, everything that owns the information. They own not only the information in the virtual space, but also the physical means of transporting goods and services, as you can see, and the technological means in Apple's case. So everybody's feeling good. Apple stock has gone up today, as you can see, it's up 0.19. Everything is looking good. The valuations are up. Everything is looking good. And so this is going to mean some trouble here. As you can see this graph here. By Apple's market value going up 3 trillion, 4 trillion, guess who are they squeezing out? They're buying up. They're able to buy up all of the little companies, not little companies, but quote unquote companies that are in the value, maybe in the millions and all of that. They're able to buy those companies up. And where does that leave the small mom and pop shop who may be selling phones or something, or selling phone cases or what may be, whatever technology, or selling, things related to Apple, but they just don't have the market share. That means they're either going to be bought out by many companies, are going to be bought out by the monopoly, by the big guys in all sectors, building sector, construction sector, and this is what we're moving towards. And this is the exact same thing that happened in 1929, folks. We had a mega monopolies that were unregulated by the government because our politicians are getting kickbacks obviously from these companies and other things too. So, and that's fine. There's nothing, nobody's knocking that. If that's, in stock trade and all that, you're getting all that. That's nothing, nobody's saying that that's wrong or knocking that, but that's part of the problem that caused the Great Depression. We had money in the hands of a few and no one willing to share and distribute that money. Now we have, this is some good news. A DoorDash worker gets $10,000 gift from the company. He almost started crying, quote unquote. DoorDash, as celebrated its 10th anniversary by giving back to its most loyal Dashers. Everybody has a side hustle in this economy, and that's awesome to see. And that's one of the reasons that you need is a side hustle. And so for these people that were delivering the DoorDash, he received a $10,000 gift from the company. This lady said Peggy, her husband, quote, had cut her hand and had been on workers' comp. So it's been kind of rough lately. She's a Michigan resident who asked for privacy reasons that her last name not be used. There's an interview on Tuesday. She's had to hold down the fort, and it meant a lot more deliveries, especially in the past 4 months. That's what the longtime DoorDasher said. So she's was thankful that the CEO and the company, the president, the manager, she thought it was a joke, she thought it was a fraud, but they ended up giving her $10,000, and so that's really cool. DoorDash on their part. There's other companies that were doing that as well. The company was founded, of course, in Silicon Valley, there in California, Palo Alto, in 2013, brings in billions of dollars of revenue, and Dashers who have joined the DoorDash platform in the early years have completed more than 10,000 deliveries and still actively earning on the platform today. So if you've completed more than 10,000 deliveries on DoorDash, kudos to you. The company said it gave gifts of $10,000 each to you guys in the blog post on Tuesday, quote unquote. So if you've completed more than 10,000 deliveries, which is crazy amount, and you're still earning, been with the company basically since the beginning, I commend you. That is awesome. That's a great side hustle to have. You're providing a needed service for those who may not be able to get out and get their own food for whatever reason, or go out to eat. And the DoorDashers do that. So does all the rest of the people, Ubers and et cetera, et cetera. So just want to say that this is the midweek Wednesday, Hump Day Wednesday for all of us. Be blessed. I'll talk to you very soon, and continue to prepare and prep in any way you can, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and most importantly, stay together and stay blessed. Talk to you soon.